Hey everybody, we are back and today is day 13, shaker cards. I just noticed I didn't mark off number 12 from yesterday, but we'll get to that. So, day 13 shaker cards. I'm going to be honest and say I've never made a shaker card up until today. And I knew it was going to be a little bit of a challenge for me, and so before I started this video, I played around with one and made one, and let me just say, some things are for me and some things are not for me. Shaker cards are probably not going to be for me. This was a challenge. I knew it was going to be. And it may be one of those things that the more you do them, the easier they get. But, yeah. So, day 13 shaker cards for Mass Make March 2023. If you are creating in this challenge, be sure you're using that hashtag so I can find you and see what you're making. This challenge is for the month of March. It's hosted by Cindy at Studio Lou. Be sure and check her out. She's got lots of fun and lots of inspiration. So let's jump right into shaker cards and see if we can complete one. So I will say this. This is the one that I created. Just kind of move everything out of the way so you guys can kind of see it. This is the one I created. And I like it. First off, I don't sew. I'm not sewing. But a side note to that is I just bought me a sewing machine. I found one on clearance at Hobby Lobby because they're doing all that crazy clearance. And so I got me a simple one, and I'll be sewing and tackling that soon. But I didn't want to sew with these because typically I don't sew. And I didn't want to try to figure out a sewing machine with plastic and hard, cards and things like that. So I'm going to play around with it first. But anyways, this shaker card was made out of a greeting card. Here's the back of it and the inside of it. So you can see this was the front cover of it, and it was scalloped around the edges. It's scalloped right up to here, so you can see this part at the front of it. So I cut it down to size and kept my scalloped edge and used it on the outside. And then fussy cut a little flower for the back side. But the acetate was used. I used a envelope, a big windowed envelope, and so trimmed it down, put the card in the back, glued 3 sides, poured the shakers in, and glued up the last side. And there's just really not a lot of room. I mean, it shakes. It's cute. I've got some beads and some. What I've got kind of as my stash are the diamond dots that people use for diamond paintings. And they're little beveled jewels basically. And I think they will make great shaker stuff. And you can, of course, get them in all gazillion different colors. Hobby Lobby had these on clearance. I think they were like 75 cents or 74 cents for a jar of them. So I got a handful of different colors, because I knew I was going to be trying to play with some shaker cards. And they're kind of flat. So yeah, I think they work good. I've also got some beads in here, some little seed beads, and I don't know what these are called, these little spaghetti noodle type beads. I don't know if you can see them. Like the little seed beads and the long seed beads. Anyways, that's what's in this shaker card. You can see them here. But anyways, it was fun to do, and I enjoyed the creativity using the card in the background and then adding the front, and but I don't know. I just, I'm undecided. I just don't know that shaker cards are for me. But I played around with this one. This is the one I made off camera. And I've gathered some stuff, and we'll play around with one for sure, or maybe two more. The one thing I wanted to play with this first is this is a piece of packaging. It was on some chipboard buttons. There was like 5 or 6 of them in here, and it's really kind of thin, but it's raised. It's got a little bit of a well in it. So I wanted to play with this. I've tried to scrub this off, this glued part where it was glued to the packaging, and I've got a lot of it off, but it's still kind of in there. So I'm gonna have to get creative to cover that up. I mean, I guess it would be okay, they're red and all that, but not for what I want to do with it. So my first thought is to play around with this card as my background, the purple card as my background. And I've got my washi here. That's my plan to cover up this outer side. And we'll fill it with, I've got some chunky glitter. Not a fan of glitter, but this is kind of chunky. It's another Hobby Lobby clearance. It's kind of chunky, so I'm hoping that it'll be okay. I've also got, you know, if we wanted to play with those. So I think first things first, because I don't have a pencil or a pen with me, I think I'm just going to hold this and kind of cut around it to get me going. Just decide what part of the image I want. I could do this and just keep, you know, just cut 2 edges. I think I'll do that. Just try to keep this easy. And of course I'll probably trim it down some more, but I just needed to trim it down to a workable space for me to get us started. Okay, so this will essentially be our card. So I don't think I'm gonna put anything else in this. I played around with some little snippets earlier, seeing if I needed anything else other than just the shakers in there. But I think since this is so challenging to me, I think it's probably best that I just leave it pretty simple and just, oh, this is so cute. Look at this little guy found in his little folder. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's so cute. Don't you just love it when you find little snippets like that in your snippet stash? It's like, oh man, I wish I would have been doing something with that. That's kind of cute. We could play with that little lacy looking piece. I just don't think that I need to be trying to really experiment. Again, these are a challenge for me, and this one I'm going to do with glitter, so I'm just kind of feeling like maybe I need to keep it simple and not go all crazy with my ideas. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is glue down my 3 sides, or probably 2 sides on this, and tuck in some glitter, because I am planning to use like the glitter. I think that purple would be pretty. So I think that's going to be my best bet. I'm going to use Weld Bond glue. Again, I'm not sewing, although, you know, like I said, I've got me a new sewing machine, but I'm not going to attempt to try to figure this out with plastic or with acetate or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. I don't know that that's advisable for my first. Now, don't get me wrong. I know how to sew. It's just been a really long time, and I've never unboxed and used like a brand new sewing machine. It's always been like hand-me-downs and my grandma's and things like that. Like they were already set up, and so I don't know, which is kind of why I've been procrastinating. I don't know how intense this is going to be as far as setting up a new sewing machine and things like that. So I don't want to add to the stress of trying to sew with acetate. So, we have 2 sides glued. Probably should go ahead and glue the 3rd side. And actually, probably should glue all 4 and lay it down like that. Put my sprinkles in, and then that's probably what I should do. I just worry about being able to smush it. I'm a smusher, and so I can't smush it down. So the good thing about having this the packaging still there, it gives me a little bit of a rough surface, so I'm not really working with plain acetate. It gives me a little surface for my glue to stick, so that is a good thing. Although, like I said, I'm using Weld Bond, and it is pretty good at gluing. Hope you can see this. I'm just playing around and not even thinking about being on screen. Okay. Smoothed out my glue, so hopefully we won't have too huge of a mess. And I think, look at that. I haven't even opened this, and the glitter's already starting to try to escape. I think, I'm nervous about dealing with this glitter. But I think we're gonna give him a little shaky shake. I'm gonna give it a little bit more than I think I normally would, mainly because since my glue's wet, I think my glue's probably gonna grab some of it. And so, do we want to do any of my other colors? I don't have a lot to choose from. I think that's gonna coincide with that. So, or we have these beads here, these little seed beads. I don't really have a purple. I have a blue and a pink, and then the green. I think I'm just gonna stick with, I also have these guys. I don't really know what these are, but, oh, they're little jewels, and I think I'm just gonna go with the glitter. And part of me says I need to add a little bit more glitter. Look at this. Glitter is already everywhere. Ugh, I'm stressing about this. Okay. Make sure we're good and closed. And so, here we go. We're just going to do glitter in this shaky card. So it's not going to sound really shaky. But, it's going to have shaky elements. Look, glitter, glitter everywhere already. Now, I'm going to flip this over. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to have to back this. I probably should have backed that first. Okay, so we are here with just a little bit of glitter. And you know what? I just don't like that because it really doesn't shake. So I think what I'm gonna do is pull this off. I'm gonna back up and regroup. I think I watched Cindy's earlier today, and she said something about being perfect, and I almost commented and mentioned what she said about being perfect because the way she said it was really cute. Because she was struggling with one of her pieces, being a problem child, as she called them. And so she said something about we all can't be perfect or something like that. That's what I'm dealing with. You know, you want to see the mistakes in this too, right? So I'm going to give this some good glue and go ahead and back this so I'll have the option to smoosh. Give me a good size range. I'm totally doing this backwards. But again, if you will remember when I first started this video, I said some things are for me. Some things are not for me. And I am going to say shaker cards are probably not for me. Probably not for me because I can't brain this whole thought process. See, I can't do that. I can't brain it. So, because now we got to cut our card down before I can. And it's not smooshed down to this, so I need to do that somehow. Yeah, I have to cut this down because I can't see where I'm putting my card, and I can't flip that over because then I'll get glue everywhere. So let me see here. Give me a little scrappy screw. And we'll just smoosh this down. That'll make me feel better about it. Being on that back. And hopefully we won't get too much glitter everywhere. And so, we're back to this. We are going to add some of these little diamond dots, the white. Again, just to give it a little shaky noise, right? And then I feel like I need to put a little bit more glue on. Just a little bit, because it's already pretty tacky. Like tacky glue. I mean, it is pretty tacky. As far as this art piece is concerned, it's pretty out there. But we are going with it. And the prompt and the challenge wouldn't be a challenge if it wasn't challenging. The challenge is shaker cards. So we rose to the challenge to attempt shaker cards, even though we have determined that this we does not like shaker cards. Okay. I'm going to flip you over. I'm going to smoosh you down. Probably not the preferred way to do this. But, again, we have shakies. The static in the glitter made it stick to the top. So, we are going to just keep going with it. This is a quick shaker card, a quick thrown together mess of a shaker card. Again, some things are for me and some things are not. Shaker cards are not for me. But again, I accepted the challenge. So we are doing this. This little edge is a little bit thinner, which is kind of odd. But it's kind of odd because the package, I mean, the top is on the package wrong because this is the bottom of the package. So it's not like this was the bottom and it cut short. It should be even. And we have a wrinkle in our washi. You know, add to the imperfections. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now. Again, I don't do shaker cards. I don't use shaker cards. I do like this one that I made, and so I'll probably tuck it in a journal somewhere. This one, I'm not a fan. Not a fan, so I'm just going to say it right now. He will probably go in some Happy Mail somewhere. I say that, and then tomorrow I'll get an order for a purple flower journal. And he'll end up in my journal or something. Isn't that how it goes? Isn't that how it goes? I am going to, I'm doing really good on time, obviously, because this took me 2 minutes to throw together. And you can obviously see that. I had such high hopes for this little plastic guy because he's so thin and would work out perfectly if I knew what I was doing. Alas, I don't, so. But that's how we live and learn. Next time I come across these, I'll think twice about what I want to do with it first. And maybe I'll learn from these mistakes here. That glitter just is staticky. So yeah, I think we're going to go with that. I'm tempted to try to round my corners. If my corner rounder will play. It will. Kinda. That helps it a little bit. And maybe I could, add some embellishments around. But we're going with that. I got glitter everywhere. Okay. Yeah, that was that. So the next two things I brought out were another envelope to play with and a tea-dyed envelope. And then I have 2 postcards that I thought I could play with. And so let me just do one at a time here. If we tuck this inside here, use that as our background. And I'm tempted to leave this on, of course I didn't on this, I trimmed it all the way down. But that cuts it really close. So I'm tempted to just leave this. And work with what we got. And that is totally uneven. First off, let me pull that guy off so he's not in my way. So I told you how uneven that was. Totally uneven. Okay. So we are going to tuck this postcard in here. The other one, like I said, I trimmed this edge off, and so it actually kind of flipped up, and I was able to glue my card down. But we only have 2 open sides on this, so we're just gonna give it a little bit of glue. Not going to get all major with it because, it's going to be tucked in the back in here. Give it a smoosh. Okay. And before I go too far, my folders, for whatever weird reason, I'm sure there's a reason in the office supply world, but my folders have 2 little notches on them. if you can see that. Which I guess is no big deal, but it bothers me. It's bothersome. It's bothersome. Okay. So let's trim this up here. Trimmy, trim, trim. What am I doing? Trimmy, trim, trim. We're gonna hope I'm not trimming too short. And if I am, then we'll just have to back up and regroup and get us another folder. So if you ever want to see how to do things the unprofessional way, then I'm glad you're here. Because I just kind of do the best I can with what I have. My sister used to tell me that all the time. Do the best you can with what you have. And so, sis, that's what I'm doing. I'm overthinking it first off, but let's see here. And I didn't get my card tucked all the way in that envelope because look at how much is left hanging out. Shameful. But the image still works for in the window, and that's what we wanted, so that's what we're going with. Okay. Now we're gonna smoosh our back, glitter everywhere. We're gonna, in my glue book, so this weekend I had company, and so if you'll remember from some of my earlier videos, talking about my creative space and how I mostly function on my kitchen counter, that's where I'm at right now. Not because I don't have space or a beautiful table to work with or work on. I do. I just end up here. But anyways, all that to say is I had company this weekend, so I had to clean everything off of my counter because we were having lunch. And so everything that I've been working with the last, week or two or month or two has been piled up on my counter here. But since I had company, we had to clean up, and so I haven't got everything back up in here is what I'm saying. And I say that to say, what do I not have that I need? I just realized something. I just realized a mistake. So I didn't glue down this section here or this section here. So anything that goes in here can easily hide up in these corners because it's not, this barrier's not, it's not glued like this one is. So anything that wants to escape being seen can hide up in here. And I'm kind of okay with that, but not really. So let's trim this down without cutting into the envelope because then that's where they will escape to. Okay. And I've got some washi that I'm going to trim this with as well. So, okay, so we have our 3 sides glued. We have a little hole that we can put I think this color will be good. Excuse me. And since they have hidey holes, we'll do a little extra. And a teeny tiny bit of white, how's that? Some peach and some white. And tighten these lids before they go everywhere, because that's what they want to do. I know it. And then so I'm gonna give them a little shaky shake. They're probably gonna congregate in one little spot, but. And then I'm gonna glue our edge. So we can't escape. Oh, I remember that's what I was saying. So all my stuff is not where it was. So my glue book is over there. So I'm being bad and gluing on my cutting board. So I will eventually get all my stuff back over here. Oh, I feel them. They've already started tucking in that corner. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we have a little bit of stuff going on here. And we need to decide as far as my washi. These are just what I brought over here. I do kind of like, oh, maybe I like that. It brings out that green in the shells. We do need to decide how big we want this card, because we have such big edges, and then we have a big edge down here. I think I'll go ahead and trim him up for sure. Go ahead and get the ruler out and do it the right way, Shell, because you know you can't trim straight. And as soon as you start chopping, you're going to chop down and not have anything left. Do I know me or what? So, yeah, like I said, I haven't decided that I really like shaker cards, mainly because it's like, gosh, there's so many, not there's so many steps, but it's like so many steps to figure out. It's not just a matter of take this and glue this and add this. It's a take this, but you have to put this one down first, and you have to glue this one down, you know, and it's just, it stresses me. It stresses my brain. And when I'm creating, I don't want brain stress. I just want to create, and I want to free flow create. It's hard for me to do that when I have to think, oh, that's not right. Oh, don't do that first. Add that second, you know, that stresses me. So I'm going to leave this little writing here. And who knows, we might find a shell sticker to cover it up or something. You know, kind of like I did this on the top here. Kind of makes me want to dig and find something for that. Like right now. But I don't know that I have anything handy. Again, all my stuff is not here handy. So it looks like I'm not going to get to, I don't think I'll get to this other card. Again, because they just take a little bit of time to brain. And I just don't want these videos to go super, super long. Especially when there's such a chaotic mess as this one is. Just feel like it's kind of all over the place. And again, I'm not so sure if shaker cards are for me. It's like I like the idea of it. I think they're super cute when other people do them and when they have them in journals and things like that. I just don't know that they're for me. And I think I'm going to round my corners. And I think I may actually like this guy. So what do you think? Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to not do this, even though I think that would be pretty. I just, it's, since I tea-dyed this envelope, the integrity of this is kind of fragile. So I don't even know that it's really glued really well to the envelope anymore. So I'm gonna not tackle that. But I'm gonna call 3 shaker cards done. One of them I really like. One of them I like, and one of them was not cool. So that's going to be that for shaker cards for day 13 of Mass Make March. Again, hosted by Cindy at Studio Lou. And I will be back tomorrow with notepads. I saw the cutest little thing on, I think it was Facebook today. And it was a little notepad. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And then I was like, I think notepads is on this list. And so I pulled this out and I was like, oh my gosh, it is. It's on there for tomorrow. So I scribbled down the idea. And so I'm fixing to jump off here and dig through my scraps and kind of gather my stuff because I had the cutest little idea for a notebook or notepad for tomorrow. But anyways, that's a wrap for shaker cards. We made 3. Yeah. that's that. So I hope you guys are following along. If you've created some shaker cards, be sure and tag the Mass Make March 2023 so I can find them and look. And maybe there's just something about the process that I'm just not getting. And maybe it's not as much of a brain drain as I'm making it. You know, some things we overthink and they're really not that hard. And maybe shaker cards is one of those for me. So anyways, I'm out for today and I will see you guys tomorrow with notepads.